What's up, YouTube friends? It is a gloomy, rainy day here in Nebraska. I did get a couple more tattoos. I do plan on doing a tattoo tour video at some point in time. I like to say that this is my heart on my sleeve. Each one of these tattoos does mean something to me very special. But I really didn't have a video planned for this week. So we're going to do something a little bit different today. A while ago, I got this entire bin at Goodwill, and it was only $14.99. This was one of those purchases that I was like shaking the whole way to the counter because I was just so shocked that I found it. So here is an easy treat bag for Halloween. Comes with thread and all the fabric. Here's a little red, white, and blue door hanger. I believe this is a whole quilt, at least the quilt top, because of all the fabrics. It's completely full. There are a lot of little block of the month projects in here. I did go ahead and separate these a while ago, so I don't even remember what's in here. But there are a few that make a complete quilt top. So any week that I don't have an idea for a video, I'm just going to come in here and grab it. So I'm calling these segments, What's in the Box? So as I was digging through there, I found this little red, white, and blue packet. It has a little cute little wooden star with it. So we're going to see what this is. So I'm also trying to get some ideas on these little projects like this that I can put together and sell online here. So let me know if you'd be interested in anything like that. Also, quilt patterns. All right, and this one also is from Canesville Quilting. I don't know if this company is still around or not. Most of them are from Canesville Quilting in that box. And this looks like it makes a little flag table runner. So cute. So let's see what we get. Yeah, this is super cute. So I'm assuming that the finished project will be about 28 inches long. And it says, we did not put binding fabric in this kit as we intended this runner to be sewn around the edges, right sides together, and pulled through the opening. If you prefer a binding, you will need to purchase a 1/6 to 1/4 yard of fabric, depending on the width of the binding you usually use. So this is going to be really quick and really easy. Cute little flag table runner. Perfect for the 4th of July. So I'm going to iron all this up and we'll get to cutting. So I'll show you a little bit of close-up on the fabric. So I got this little blue with little tiny white stars. This kind of cream color, and this has little white stars on it. Kind of a batik red. And the backing is this cream colored with little blue stars. I'll probably just use some flannel for the batting. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut my blue fabric to 7.5 by 8 inches. Okay, so I'm just going to set that off to the side. Now I'm going to grab my white here. I'm just going to fold it in half. That's probably good, but I'm just going to fold it in half again. And I need two 3-inch pieces off of this. And now I'm just going to cut the strips down. I need one 3 inches by 21.5 and one 3 inches by 28.5. 21. And 28.5. I'm going to do the same thing and fold my red in half the long ways. And in half again. And this time I need 3 3-inch strips. And now these get cut down. I need 2 of them that are 3 by 21.5 and one that's 3 by 28.5. So I'm going to cut these 2 at 21.5. And these scraps are just going to go to my little piece bin. And then this one at 28.5. Okay, now we just need to sew it together. I'm going to kind of lay it out here so you get the picture. So now we just need to sew this together. So I'm going to sew these 3 first using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Then I'm going to sew these 2. I'll attach the blue to the first 3 strips and then just attach everything all together. So let's start with these 3 strips. So I'm just going to throw a pin just so nothing moves. I'm going to take this over to my sewing machine with the 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going to sew all the way down that seam. So I'll be using a straight stitch. I'm just going to run the edge of my fabric with the edge of my presser foot and back stitch. Now I'm just going to take this to my ironing board and give it a press. I'm going to press towards the darker fabric. Next, I'm just going to attach the other red strip. Now I'm just going to do my 2 longer strips the exact same way. Our next step is I'm going to attach my blue fabric to my original 3 strips. And finally, we just need to sew this one to this one. Alright, so the top is all done. It did get a little wonky here at the end, so I'm just going to trim that up to make it even. So right now this measures about 12 inches wide by 28 and a quarter. So I did lose a quarter of an inch, but that's okay. So I think I'm going to use this piece of scrap flannel for the batting. So I'm just going to cut it down a little bit. You could also just use regular batting, that's fine. So I'm just going to lay my little table runner right on top, the right side's facing up. I'm going to make it as smooth as possible. And then I'm going to throw some pins. I'm just going to make this super easy, and I'm just going to stitch in the ditch around this block for my quilting, and then just down the seams here. Really quick and really easy. So I'm just going to throw a few pins in here just so nothing moves on me. And then I'm just going to roughly cut any of this extra off. Just so it's not in my way. And then I'm just going to take this over to my sewing machine, and I'm just going to quilt by stitching in the ditch. So I'm going to keep everything the same. I'm still using a straight stitch. My length is a 2.5. Right, so now I'm just going to remove my pins and then just trim my thread tails. So now I'm just going to trim my flannel flush with my topper. Then I'm just going to take my backing fabric. I'm going to lay it so that the right side is facing up. I'm going to lay my little table runner face down and make sure everything is nice and smooth. So my right sides are touching, and I'm going to throw some pins. So I'm going to leave about maybe a 4-inch opening down here at the bottom. So this will be my opening. I'm going to start at one of these pins, and with a 1/4-inch seam allowance, I'm going to sew all the way around, back stitching at the beginning and the end of my pins. When I get a 1/4-inch away, that's the little notch here on my presser foot. I'm going to stop with my needle down, raise my presser foot, and spin. So now I'm just going to trim my backing fabric flush with my flannel piece. And now I'm just going to come around here and clip my corners to reduce some of that bulk, but just don't go through your threads. So now I'm just going to pull all of this through our opening carefully. Using my bone folder, I'm going to press out my corners carefully. You can use a chopstick or a blunt pencil, something like that. Even your scissors if you're careful. And then I'm just going to take this over to my ironing board and give it a good press. I'll also close my little opening here. It should close nicely, and then stick a pin. And finally, I'm just going to take this back over to my sewing machine, and I'm going to top stitch with an 1/8 inch seam allowance all the way around, closing my little opening, back stitching at the beginning and the end. So I'm just going to move my needle over to the right. I'm still just going to run my fabric along the edge of my presser foot and back stitch. When I'm about an 1/8 inch away, I'm going to stop with my needle down, raise my presser foot, and spin. And just that quick and easy, our little table runner is finished. So shout out to Canesville Quilting if they're still in business. This was a fun, quick little project, perfect for the 4th of July. If you like this video and want to see more of my videos, especially the What's in the Box videos, leave me a comment. If you have a question about this video or just a suggestion for a future upcoming video, leave me a comment also. And as always, thanks for watching. Have a happy and safe 4th of July, and I'll see you next time.